Welcome to this edition of the $1 Million Mastermind Podcast. This is where we pick the brains of high achievers from all walks of life and get their hard-earned, real-world insights on winning. I'm your host, Larry Weidel. All right, I'm back with Lee Keating, co-owner, along with her husband, Tom Bowers, for 33 years in Aspen, the premier ski clothing, equipment, and all-season wear, the premier retailer in Aspen. They started at the bottom, worked their way up, and so thanks, Lee, for taking the time to get back and give us a chance to bat some more ideas around.
Thanks for having me.
Lee, talk about people are interested in this thing because as you're successful in one location, one of the things I have in the book is that every time you run through the finish line and you have a success, it opens up the doors to other opportunities that would have never been available to you had you not had that first success. And you've had compounding success. You even moved. I remember when you moved and took over the big store on the corner. And a lot of people, everybody's always second guessing, but there was plenty of people to say, "Oh, I wish they hadn't done that. Oh, they overbid," and it's such a big thing. But you made it you hit that thing out of the park. And by doing that, you got that opportunity because you made a success out of that 900 square foot facility to begin with. And that opened the door up to a bigger opportunity. And how has that been for you? Do you feel vindicated? Did you feel vindicated by being able to make that work?
Oh, yeah. No, it's been unbelievably fantastic. It's been although, a lot of people, like 90% of our customers were super supportive of us moving. Very, very supportive. So that was really fantastic.
Yeah. And so, it wasn't like a blind leap of faith. And again, a big percentage of your client base are super successful people in other businesses. So you had wise people giving you that advice. And so it still had to feel good, though, to see what a success it turned out, because you not just made it a success, you become a fixture in town at that location. And for how many years has that been now?
This is going into the 8th year.
8th year. Now you take that store and all of a sudden opportunities open up in Snowmass, Vail, other areas?
Yes, we're in both Snowmass and Vail.
And so how did that come about?
And that's the end of our chain. That's
it. You're not going to have any more kids, in other words, huh?
No.
If stores are kids, you're not going to have any more kids, huh? But what?
No, that's it. 3's enough.
3's enough. Now, what did you learn by taking on those and doing that kind of expanding? Because you have a lot of people that have success in one area, and then they're faced with the same type decision, and they wonder. And so what you've done is you've duplicated yourself in Snowmass and in Vail. And Vail, for people who don't know, is about a 2-hour drive. Snowmass about a half hour. And that stretches you. There's a lot going on running 3 stores compared to 1. So what have you learned from that? How has that enriched your life?
Oh my God. It's actually, at first I would say it's made more work, but it hasn't, because we've made sure that the people that work for us in those locations are top notch. And those locations have been, they're a much simpler operation than what we have here. We don't offer the services of ski rental or ski equipment. It's only ski apparel. It's only a few of the brands, the best brands. And a lot of people told us, especially we open in Vail or we open in Snowmass, we have to buy differently for those stores. I said, forget it. We're buying exactly the same. And so it's been nice that the three shops kind of support each other through us almost really not needing a warehouse, where the excess merchandise is kept in Vail and Snowmass. And as we need it, we move it around. But no, I don't know. Sometimes my husband says it's a pain in the neck, but other times we think it's great. I don't know.
Yeah.
We just
Hey,
have to be on top of those situations, though. We just can't let them go and be off on their own. I mean, we have fantastic people working there, but we still have to be on top of every detail all the time.
and what let's go back to the first thing you said. You've got to be really have really high quality people there. It's like in my staff that's not that big, but we do a lot of different things. We run several businesses. We've got I don't know how they keep up with it, but I tell our staff we don't just have a staff. We've got a trophy staff. It's not it's people have got to be top really at the top of their game to work with everybody else because everybody else is like first class now. And if your goal as the owner is just to survive, you'll take anybody you can get, just to keep the doors open. But if your aim is to excel and you got a real pride about your quality and your reputation and really want to do a good job, you're going to demand more out of the people on your team. And I can't believe that was something that was new for you, but was that lesson more reinforced once you got extended like that?
Yeah, probably. But I think the fact that our guys are so good that when this COVID thing happened, I said to all of them, you still have a job. Don't even worry for 1 second. And then in turn, they're so happy and grateful that they work twice as hard. It's all about how you treat each other.
Yeah. But, your mentality, I don't know if anyone ever talks to you about this, but there's a book called The E Myth by Michael Gerber. And it's the entrepreneurial myth. And people think because they open a store to do what they do, they have a business. But you really only have a business when you built it up that thing can run and be profitable even when you're not there. And you're involved in the buying and this, that, and the other, but you've got a business. I mean, you've got 3 stores that operate and you can take off time, go on the buying trips, go on other things. I mean, how many months a year are you in Hawaii or Fiji or wherever? You take time
Well, I take
away,
off
right?
5. Yes.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I take 5 months to go to Hawaii, Fiji, and Indonesia.
I didn't even know about Indonesia. Uh, you're even becoming more of my hero. So, what's the thinking? What's the thinking behind? How long did it take you to get to that point? And what's the thinking on taking that time out for yourself and your family?
Well, it was all step by step. It wasn't 5 months all of a sudden. It started out 2 weeks, then it grew to a month, then it went to 2 months. So it's been an evolution of time off. But also, I mean, we are so busy. Like when we typically get back October 1, we hit the ground running. And we are like that until we leave on May 1st. And I'm working 7 days a week all day long. I'll ski in the morning for a few hours, and then I am at the store from noon until when it's time to go home and have dinner.
And
So it's a very busy ski season.
yeah, and if you're going to have that time off, you can push yourself because there's going to you got this time off ahead of you, and it makes it easier to just do what you need to do. Uh, what about when you're gone on the other side of the world? This is not like you took a vacation to North Scottsdale to a resort where you could drive back in an afternoon or a day. This is a day of flying by plane if you had to get back in a hurry. So, on the other side of the world during those months, how much are you thinking about the business and wondering and worrying about the business?
Every day.
And is that emails and phone call and texts and things like that?
No, it's phone calls. I call them on the telephone.
Uh
I
huh.
have to hear their voice. I have to know what's going on. I have to, no, it's not text or email. It's an actual phone call.
Yeah, we have a guy in our business, or a couple, and they're taking 3 week trips to Dubai and to China. They just, he said, I like to travel, but they still have their finger on the pulse of the business, even though, they're on vacation. It doesn't. It. Do you find it takes a lot of time to keep up with it at a distance? Is it, or
No, no,
just as
not at all.
just as long as they know you're in touch with them and they hear your voice and things like that?
Yeah, no, it's maybe, I mean, some days it's 10 minutes. Other days it might be an hour and a half when I'm gone. Or if I have to say do an order, that might take me a couple hours, but it's usually pretty quick. I call each of the stores, ask them how they're doing, what they sold, what's going on, what's the gossip. Um, Sometimes I have them send me pictures of the merchandising, but it's pretty quick.
And what do you do? What? How long did it take you to figure out what questions to ask? Do you do it just by? It sounds like you're doing that by feel as well. It's like what's going on, what was sold. You're getting right to the bottom line. It's not a line. How do you feel? It's like what's getting sold. What's moving. What's actually
No, I
what.
want the details. I want Yes, yes. I don't call them and say how is business today? Good. Okay. Great.
How are
No,
you
I
feeling?
want to know the
Yeah.
details. It's all about the details.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. We used to have annual conventions in Atlanta, 40, 50,000 people back when we were owned. We were the marketing engine for Citigroup, and that was Sandy Weil, but his second in command was Jamie Dimon, who now runs, the biggest bank in the world. And I asked Jamie one time, I said, when you get together, they're planning meetings once a month. I said, when you get together the planning meetings, what things to go over? What information are you looking at? And, how do you work your way through the decision process? And he looked at me dumbfounded. We were like walking on stage for some introduction of some kind. And I remember we're climbing the stairs and having this conversation. And he said, he looked at me dumbfounded. He said, the facts. He said, we talk about the facts. He said,
Right,
when you have
exactly. No, I agree with that.
when you have the facts, it makes it very easy to make decisions.
Yep,
And it sounds like you operate
100%.
you operate exactly the same way. Well, this has been great. I appreciate your time. I'm proud of what you're doing. Looking forward to seeing how your business continues to expand and prosper and see now you're entering into a new dimension, which all parents do if they're fortunate enough to see their kids come and take hold of things in life and apply those same principles. And you got a lot of fun things to look forward to, Lee. And it was there. Let me just ask you this: going out the door, was there anything that you can look back on that you made sure you did with your kids to help them grow up and be responsible independent people, basically responsible, and people that, where they could be on their own and make their own decisions, and not be misled by all of the stuff that try, that's out there to try and get kids off track. Is there anything you can look back on and say, I'm really glad we did this, or this was always my intent, or we always talked about this? Because obviously you spent a lot of time together. But is there any one thing that you emphasized that you felt like was a difference maker with them?
It's interesting. I think it's what has been such a gift for our children is that they see how hard we work, and how they see that there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. And if you want to be successful, you have to do the work. And for them, it's they've applied that to their schoolwork. I mean, they both told me there's no shortcut for math. It's applied to their training for ski racing. I mean, they work like crazy. They're surfing, and also they're helping out with us here in the shop. I think both of my kids are going to do quite well because they know that there is absolutely, positively no substitute for hard work.
Well, that's a great ending to our interview. And I just want to thank you again, Lee, for taking the time.
Sure. It was great. Thanks.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the new season. It's always fun to see all the new great things that you bring in. And if I can, I'm always in there early before the season so I can cherry pick the best things.
I know, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Before you get out of the sizes. So anyway, have a great trip, and thanks again for doing this.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the $1 Million Mastermind. If you felt there were any valuable takeaways from this episode, please take a minute and leave us a 5-star review. Your feedback is important and really helps us get the word out to a wider audience. Remember, we have a valuable webinar that is absolutely free. Register for it right now at whitealumwinning.com. Thanks for listening.